afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome along to the third and final round of the 2022 BNL Classic Series season. We have 25 juniors set to go into battle, and Lawrence Bowles, who was quickest in group number 2, will be on the front row alongside Tommy Van Der Strohe.
Michael Pedersen, Scott Marsh, Dave Stevens from the top 6. 7 minutes plus an additional lap about to get underway. The red lights are on the gantry, the drivers are in, the tram lines are we ready? Are we steady? We're lights out and off and racing. Now it's the run down to turns 1 and 2. Herbo's got the inside line. Van der Strohe's looking towards the outside. Michael Pedersen, I think, is trying to slot through the inside as well, as the drivers are nearly 5 abreast coming through the runoff area for the first time, which they can use on the opening lap. But Van der Strohe has hit the front of the field. So go up into turn number 6. Onto the European, where they hit sector number 2. So Van der Strohe leads. It's 3 abreast at points at the back end of the field, as they make their way down into turn 7 off the European. There are side-by-side altercations happening through into turn number 7, and I think Enzo Bol managed to make up a position or 2 in the process. And that will be on Mika van Peijbroek from the Netherlands. But now the change for second has happened. Michael Pedersen, the current points leader coming into this round of the championship, is second and hunting down Van der Strohe. And this year was the Rotax Max Euro Trophy vice champion and booked his ticket to Portimao for Team Netherlands. Who overtakes something from turn number 12 as they complete the opening lap. Van der Strohe has already bolted. He's got a gap of over half a second over Michael Pedersen. Lawrence Herbo's down to third. Mateo Dankovic, Mitchell van Dijk, Olivier Jonkers, Thijs van Dijk, Mika van der Peijbroek, Scott Marsh and Germany's Lewis Detley ran out the top 10. And now Michael Pedersen is being chased down. Dankovic and Van Dijk now running out the top 5. Detling in the middle of a bit of a melee, as it's side by side between the 2:07 of Sebastian Koch and the 2:82 of this year's Euro Trophy Project E20 Junior Rotax winner, Dave Stevens from the Netherlands, in the 2:82. The drivers split into 3 groups, groups A, B and C. They are the only class with about 38 drivers here this weekend that will compete in 2 out of 3 race heats, thereby determining the ranking of the heats for tomorrow. Nice little send up the inside. Someone did go a little bit sideways. It might, I'm not exactly sure how that might have been. In Kasper's house, that might have made the move on Kasper Schrommers going through into turn 12. But now Van der Strohe, Pedersen, Herbo's, the Dankovic are the top 4, covered by just over 0.8 of a second. Mitchell van Dijk running at the top 5 is a little bit further adrift. He's about 0.6 behind the 2:96 from Belgium as they go off of the European through turn 7. Now into the sweeper here at turn number 8. Willem Bartenstein and Ruben Verheyen ran at the top of the 25 strong, all running after the opening 2 laps. A lot of rainfall last night, but it has dried with the sunshine up above. It has brought a new dynamic, so the drivers were on wet tyres for warm-up and qualifying. Now they are on slicks. Now Michael Pedersen goes for the send up the inside of Tommy Van der Strohe in the 2:54 to now take the race lead. But now it's an absolute dogfight at the front of the field. The top 4 are line astern, and there's a little bit of bumping and boring. Herbo's gets sent one up the inside by Radenkovic, who gets through on the apex at turn number 2 to take back third. The slipstream is always mighty coming out of turn number 12 and into turns 1 and 2 is now Michael Pedersen leading the way in the 2:55 from JJ Racing. Tommy Van der Strohe is now under the Boven Power awning these days and has got his teammate just behind, performing the 2:98 of Mateo Radenkovic. Lawrence Herbo is now being reeled in by Mitchell van Dijk, who rounds out the top 5 positions. Dankovic looking to get past his significantly taller teammate, as we're into the final 3 minutes and 10 seconds. Send up the inside a little bit further back. That was Scott Marsh, I believe, on Mika van der Peijbroek, who has got past and already pulled away by a couple of cart legs. A little bit more battling down the bottom end of the field. So we're just a few moments remaining in this opening heat. We have just 2 minutes and 40 seconds still to go. But it has become a 5-way scrap at the front end of the field for the opening heat victory. And what's more, Mikkel Pedersen in the meantime has dropped all the way down from 1st to 4th position, because Tommy van der Stroys now leads. Radenkovic in 2nd. Herbols now up into 3rd. Pedersen and Mitchell van Dijk round out the top 5. 2 minutes and 14 still remaining to go on the clock. And all 25 runners and riders covered by just under 12.5 seconds after 4 laps of racing. Now go on to lap number 6. Fastest lap of the race so far is the driver in 9th position. Casper Schormans in the 2:40, representing the Netherlands, 57.781 seconds. As Van der Stroy is being hustled along by Matej Radenkovic. As they make their way out of turn number 6 and onto the Europollaan, where traffic to their immediate left-hand side will only be going a maximum of 90 kilometres an hour. These drivers will be pushing north of 100 kph into the braking zone into turn 7. A bit further back, Olivier Jonkers is ahead of Casper Schormans, who is battling for the title ahead of Mikkel Pedersen coming into this final round. And effectively, Casper Schormans has got to win as much as he can. And at the moment, he is not having the greatest start to the race weekend, as everyone makes their way through turns 11 and 12. A bump on turn 11, definitely one to negotiate. But Radenkovic through on the inside of Van der Stroy on the opening foray through into lap number 7 with less than 60 seconds on the clock to go. Radenkovic leading the way through turn 5 as they go into the braking zone. Tight on the inside. Some will swing to the outside and then really cut across the apex. And now Van der Stroy is looking for his opportunity to retake the position as Mikkel Pedersen look for a move up the inside of Laurens Herbols. Going through into turn number 7 off of the Europollaan, but the 298 from Belgium resisted that attack. Mitchell van Dijk now still in 5th position and closing in on the Dane in the 255. Scott Marsh now up into 6th. Schormans, Mika van der Pevert, Olivier Jonkers and Germany's Lewis Detling completing the top 10. But with 10 seconds to go, the leaders cross the line. 2 more laps remain. Van der Stroy is losing a little bit more time to Matej Radenkovic in the process. And a bit of a bump over the exit of turn number 2 on the outside by Mitchell van Dijk, but the Dutchman still keeps it pinned. Well held. But Van der Stroy has just under a lap and a half. They've already gone through the first sector. Now, when they come through out of turn number 9, they'll hit the second intermediate. And Van der Stroy was fractionally quicker. He is closing in on the Belgian in front. Van der Stroy's not in the hunt for the title. Mikkel Pedersen, great send up the inside of Laurens Herbols through turn number 10, and that allows Mitchell van Dijk to close. But the last lap board, the first one of the day and of the race weekend, sees Matej Radenkovic leading after 8 laps. 9th and final lap now underway. Slipstream Vest behind. Pedersen fending off Herbols. Van Dijk waiting in the wings. Scott Marsh 1.8 seconds behind. Van Dijk switches to the outside going through into turn 3. See if he can carry that momentum through on Laurens Herbols. But Pedersen takes the defensive line. Van Dijk switches to the outside, tries to get the over-under through turn 6. Now they're all looking over their shoulders of both Pedersen and Herbols, as Van Dijk is the one with the advantage here. Looks to the inside of the 298 and clips the curbs. The back end goes sideways to the left-hand side, and that was the perfect opportunity for Van Dijk to really line it up, tee it up nicely. But our 2 leaders are coming through turns 10 and 11, as now Marsh and Schormans are going to make it a possible battle for 3rd place. But out of the final corner, it is going to be Matej Radenkovic that wins the opening race of the meeting, along with Tommy van der Stroy. And look out behind, there's an absolute melee. It's Herbols that's going to take 3rd place, and Scott Marsh closes into the point where he actually gets 4th ahead of Mitchell van Dijk. Casper Schormans pips Mikkel Pedersen to 6th position by, Mikkel Pedersen drops all the way down to 7th place. Mika van der Pevert taking 8th ahead of Lewis Detling. Enzo Bol, Kaz Boshuis from the Netherlands in 11th, Boluet. Archie Buttle on his his first ever trip to Europe, places P13, ahead of Australia's Armand Hamilton. Thijs van Dijk Dave Stevens, Luca Prima, Olivier Jonkers, Frederick Zebis, Christensen from Denmark, Ruben Verheyen, Will Murtaugh, who's being assisted by Kai Hunter this weekend, who was not driving, Sebastian Koch, Kieran Bartenstein, Max Cuthbert, and Puck Gubbles, rounding out the 25 strong.